We're always busy there, so obviously the aprons don't last long there when it comes to staying clean. But this is my, as you can tell, I really love Disneyland, so this is my apron here. So today I'll be doing something a little bit differently. Judging from the title of my video, you'll see that this is a different type of video as opposed to the previous videos I was putting out. I've actually been trying to focus more on this channel, making it more of maybe like a personal style channel as opposed to being constricted to just one topic. Constricted, restricted, I don't know, either way. So in case you guys didn't know, I've actually been working for Home Depot for about 4 years now. I started with the company, I want to say maybe around November 2014. You know, when I first started with the company, I had nothing but great things to say about it. You know, I really felt like it was maybe like a very sort of like a tight-knit family type establishment, which I really liked. So as I said, I started with Home Depot in about November 2014. I started out as a cashier. And to be honest with you, I started regretting leaving my previous job to work at Home Depot because I was really scared. Like, I knew nothing about tools, I knew nothing about home improvement, anything. Pretty much Home Depot is pretty much the last place you'd expect someone like me to be working. But I took a risk and I went, and I got hired on the spot pretty much. So pretty much when I started as cashier, it was a little bit overwhelming. There was a lot to remember. You had to be well, of course, you know, customer service was number one. Number two, you had to be very fast while at the same time maintaining a sort of relationship with the customer. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a very fast-paced environment when I was a cashier, pretty much. But I did get the hang of it really quickly. Then after about a year or so, that's when I actually got asked by one of the upper management. For some reason, I can't get my words right today. After about a year or so, that's when I got asked by upper management if I wanted to move to a department. So management wanted me to go work in the floor and wall department. You know, with floor and wall, they actually deal with tile installations, laminate floorings, real wood floorings. They cut blinds back there, pretty much everything that has to do with like interior home decor. So of course, you know, having been there a year, I was like more than honored, you know, to be asked to be moved to a department. And you know, so once I got there again, pretty much you had to, we didn't work off commission. So we had to pretty much, I think my goal was to sell maybe $2,000-$3,000 a week for flooring jobs, carpet jobs. Like I said, it was really overwhelming. There was a lot to remember. And as far as that department goes, you had to really establish pretty much kind of a long-term relationship with the customer because you had to sell the job, obviously. And while I was in that department, I did have a lot of people helping me and showing me like the way to pretty much drive sales and make sure that that sale that I did actually sells. But unfortunately, after maybe like about a year or so in that department, I started noticing that they pretty much just put me back there because they needed a body, because I think about 2 people had quit at the time, and so they desperately needed someone back there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think the department was fun, it was a great learning experience, but I just didn't like the way managers at the time pretty much just threw me back there without really having gotten proper training, I should say. This is in no way, shape, or form pretty much trying to talk bad to the people that did help me. I really appreciated what they did for me in helping me out, but I think overall the core requirements of the job, I pretty much just wasn't given proper training. I was pretty much doing 2 jobs in that department. So I was in charge of having to drive sales in that department, plus pretty much put all the returns in the department. And at the time, there was a lot of employees in that department that pretty much didn't want to help at all with putting away returns. So pretty much I took the initiative to just put away those returns, make the aisles look nice. So yeah, pretty much I was doing 2 jobs for the price of one, you know. I mean, my pay went up. I'm not gonna lie, my pay went up by about $1, but pretty much the fact that I was doing 2 jobs, I felt like I should have gotten compensated a little bit more. So pretty much anyways, after that, I kind of just stopped caring about my position in that department. I thought it was just really unfair that I was the only one that had to put away returns and do all kinds of things while everyone else got to sit down at the desk and pretty much just, the customer just came to them and they pretty much just got easy sales that way. Don't get me wrong, I love the associates that were in that department, and it's not their fault that management just lacked, maybe I should say, maybe didn't apply their authority as they should have. I feel like maybe they sort of had the newbies in the department pretty much pick up the slack. But I feel like the people that have been there for years maybe just got cut way more slack because, of course, you know, they've been there for years, they know the jobs. You know, pretty much they felt maybe they weren't going to mess with employees that were pretty much one of their best sellers in that department. So yeah, anyways, to make a long story short, I pretty much just got fed up in that department. And at the time, I pretty much just begged the manager at the time to pretty much just put me in any other department. You know, just pretty much just so fed up with it back there. You know, I was just willing to take anything at that time. And thankfully he did, because a lot of people told me that, you know, once you're in a department back there, you're pretty much stuck back there. Pretty much managers won't work with you as far as maybe like demoting you to a different department. And when I was back there, I actually was getting to the point where they said, look, if you aren't making sales, you know, pretty much you're gonna lose your job. So obviously I didn't want to lose my job, because, you know, I just quit the other job not too long ago. But pretty much, you know, I just wasn't liking the department back there. You know, pretty much there was no leadership as far as management goes, and I just felt like I was just stuck back there alone to pretty much make sales. You know, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't on commission. I just felt like I just wasn't really valued back there. So yeah, long story short, so I ended up getting moved to the customer service desk. And at the customer service desk, we pretty much do, well, at the time we just did, we set up deliveries, we would set up online orders, and then also when people would come to pick up their orders, we would help them release them. And that was pretty much it. That was pretty much all we would do in that department. So yeah, so I was in the department for I would say about 2-3 years. Maybe like around, I want to say maybe 2018, maybe. I could be wrong. But anyways, I guess the way that department was set up, it was the customer service desk on one side and then returns by the main entrance. And then pretty much, you know, I don't know whose idea it was. Maybe if it was somebody that suggested it to corporate, but pretty much they ended up merging those both departments together. So pretty much now it was just called the customer service desk, and we had to deal with returns. We had to deal with, you know, aside from doing the online pickups and deliveries, we had to do returns. And then pretty much when they gave our store a remodel, we also had to clean some like coffee machine that was there, which I thought was ridiculous, you know, because the coffee machine, another department was in charge of cleaning it. But pretty much for some reason, we were the department where everyone wanted to just pretty much throw tasks that they couldn't finish to our department, and they expected us to finish it, which I thought was ridiculous, because, you know, because our department got really busy. We were like, I think the third or second highest volume store in California, and pretty much, you know, hardly anyone from any other department came to help us when we would get busy, aside from maybe if we needed like backup at the registers. Pretty much no one else would ever come near our department because it was so chaotic. You know, no one wanted to come near our department at all. Like, we legit would have lines like pretty much all day out the door. And, you know, a lot of people don't believe me sometimes when I say like, no, like we honestly have lines out the door all day, like 24/7. Our department pretty much became sort of like the, you know, oh, if you can't finish it, just give it to their department, they'll finish it. And then not only that, pretty much if we couldn't finish the tasks that any other department couldn't finish, then we would actually get in trouble for it, which makes no sense to me at all. So yeah, and aside from that, we also were pretty much the store's unofficial call center. So if any calls were to come into the store, we'd have to screen them and transfer them to the department. And that in of itself was super annoying. So pretty much picture, we have lines going out the door, and then we have the phones ringing off the hook. So pretty much if a department wouldn't answer a call, we'd have to pick up, have a customer yell at us, and then aside from that, we can let the phone ring more than twice. So pretty much we had to like stop what we were doing, tell the customer to hold on, pick up that call, and you know, it was just chaotic. It was just, I don't know. So I guess I was told our store used to have a call center. So pretty much it was just like one center that was devoted to pretty much just answering and screening all the calls. But I guess, you know, I don't know if, honestly, to be honest, I think it was just a way to save money. Obviously, they got rid of the call center, and so pretty much customer service got stuck with answering the calls. So picture now you have us doing, we're the call center, we're the returns desk, and we're the online/delivery pickup desk. And of course, I know there's always going to be maybe like 1 or 2 new responsibilities when it comes to working a job. You know, I understand that, but I feel like that company itself was really trying to just cut corners and save money by pretty much just, you know, merging all these departments together, all these responsibilities together, I should say. And, you know, honestly, for the same pay. I'm going to say I started out, I believe, making $10. At the time, the California minimum wage was, I believe, like $10.25, something like that. And so I had, going on 4 years, all that I had as far as like a raise pay was maybe like about 20 cents a year, I want to say. So long story short, I ended my time there getting only paid $12.30. And regular cashiers that do pretty much half the tasks that we do were getting pretty much only maybe like 30 cents less than us. 30 cents. You know, I figured maybe, you know, it's such a giant company, I figured maybe they would have maybe, as an act of good faith, maybe given us maybe like $1 raise. You know, the fact that they merged 2 departments together, but they didn't. You know, pretty much our wages stayed the same. You know, I can't speak for everyone because I believe there were people in our department that had worked there longer than I have that pretty much got paid a little more. But, you know, at least the way my wages stayed, it pretty much just, you know, having all those years there, I would expect to get paid maybe just a little more money, or, you know, overall for the whole department get maybe, like I said, maybe like $1 raise or something, you know. So pretty much the cutting corners and the merging of departments was maybe like one of the main reasons why I left the company. But going on to the next reason, I'm gonna say the customers that were really bad. You know, I understand, you know, you're working retail, you're gonna have bad customers, you know, obviously, whether it's food, retail, or any sort of job that you have to, any customer service type job. But I mean, the customers there were just really, really rude. You know, maybe it has to do with the area, you know, I don't know, but, you know, pretty much we'd have customers yelling at us all day. I mean, it's customer service, so obviously, you know, everyone that comes to our department had an issue, whether it was maybe returning something that we don't normally allow, or trying to return something that's past the return date. You know, just many different reasons why customers were always in a bad mood when they came to our department. One of the main things that irritated me while working there is pretty much, you know, obviously we're really customer service driven there, but pretty much the managers there were just so desperate to pretty much just hang on to like returning customers that pretty much they would go out of their way to pretty much just break all the rules for the customers whenever they wanted. And, you know, I'm there trying to enforce the rules when it comes to things, you know, certain things we can't return, certain things we can't do. I'd have to call a manager because customers always wanted to talk to a manager for everything. You know, the manager would get there and pretty much they would just bend over backwards for the customer and be like, oh yeah, that's fine. And they'd be like, oh Peter, like, why are you giving the customer a hard time? Just do it. And I'm not gonna say all the managers did that. You know, actually a lot of the managers did have your back there, but maybe there was like one manager there in particular that I just, you know, I couldn't deal with him. Pretty much that's why whenever there was an issue with the customer, I pretty much try my best not to call him, because, you know, I understand, you know, like I said, it's customer service based. You're gonna have to break the rules for a customer once in a while. But one of the things that I couldn't stand was at the fact that they would make us pretty much look dumb in front of the customer, like if we were the bad guy for denying a return. But yeah, that was one of my issues. And then one of the other issues, like I said, you know, I felt like the new management we got I was there for 4 years. So 2 years we had different sets of managers, and then after those 2 years we got a whole brand new set of managers. And, you know, I just felt like maybe management, they pretty much, obviously, you know, they wanted to just be by the book this time. And pretty much I just felt like there was not enough appreciation there when it comes to like the employees. You know, I felt like it was just very, you know, just do this, do that. And it was never like, obviously they would say please or thank you sometimes, but I felt like it was just pretty much now, instead of being like a close-knit type company or at least store, it pretty much became like very just corporate driven. That's how it felt to me, at least. So yeah, we got our store renovation. We're pretty much like the test store. I don't know if all the other Home Depots have like this new layout in the store, but we were the test store here in California. And pretty much along with that renovation came a Starbucks type, like a coffee kiosk. Pretty much, it was like a self-serve kiosk. Pretty much, yeah. So like I said, that department was in charge of maintaining, like, you know, filtering out the dirty water, everything that, you know, you do with the coffee machine. And pretty much, like I said, whenever they couldn't clean the machine, we were in charge of cleaning the machine, obviously. But I mean, our department is so busy, like we pretty much hardly had time to breathe. You know, we had to be, like I said, answering phones, taking customers, you know, all these other tasks. We didn't have time at all to be cleaning coffee machines, you know what I mean? And so yeah, so like when we got that coffee machine, I guess we were supposed to be trained to clean the coffee machine, which they never really told us. At least I don't remember being told, as far as like my job description, that was one of, you know, the duties we had to do. But anyways, yeah, so like obviously I know how to clean from the outside, you know, refill cups, lids, sugar, cream, you know, all that stuff. But pretty much, you know, there was one manager in particular where if I were to open and that coffee machine, you know, was not clean, he'd come and he'd throw a major fit. And like I told him like 3 times, you know, I was never trained to clean that coffee machine, you know, so like what do you expect me to do? And like, you know, our store opens at 5 a.m. So, you know, pretty much, and at 5 a.m. people are already coming in, you know, they want to do returns, they want to deal with issues from the day before. You know, at 5 a.m. we already have customers, okay? And the customers usually, like, they wouldn't really come in spurts. Like we already have just like a steady flow of customers coming in. And you know, for a customer service based driven type store, you wouldn't you expect us to give like 100%, attention to the customers that are coming into our department? But no, he'd pull me from my department, and then we'd be one person short in the departments, and a line would build up, and he had me go clean the coffee machine, which again, like I said, I was never trained, but neither did he say like, oh, I'll show you how to clean it. No, like he'd wait till we'd be really busy, pull me from my department, and just tell me like, oh, like, why don't you clean the coffee machine? And I would, tell me, that's not our, that's not our department, like I could clean it, but if I were, if I was trained to clean the coffee machine, I wouldn't question. I would just, clean the coffee machine. So that was one of like the things that irritated me, I should say. And then one of like the major issues, maybe the reason like I just wanted to leave that company is because, at the time I wasn't in school, so I pretty much wanted to just tackle more hours, maybe just get full-time. So 3 times I had asked for full-time, and pretty much all 3 times I was denied by that same manager. So pretty much I was told, he said I didn't show a sense of urgency, and he said he didn't like the fact that I let the phones ring more than twice. Like I said, we're so busy there, we have customers coming in and out, and aside from the customers coming through the line, we have customers on the other side of the desk saying, oh, can you help me? So then I'd have to stop, dealing with one customer and be like, oh, hold on, and then I'd be like, oh, where's this at? Like, oh, it's over here, or I need help with this. It was just very chaotic. So anyways, I'd asked for full time, I got denied 3 times. So that's when I pretty much took the initiative, like, okay, if I'm not gonna get full time, I'm just gonna go back to school, which I did. But aside from that, the manager that I had an issue with, he didn't want to give me full time, because I guess he said I didn't show a sense of urgency, blah blah blah. So tell me why, when we got 2 new employees at the time, he gave them full time. And mind you, he gave them full time maybe after a month of being there. So I think you can obviously tell the way someone works, pretty quickly how they are. But I feel like having a month there in a department where, for a company that I worked for 4 years, I thought that was really crappy. I felt like, that's why I kind of just felt like the managers had it out for me. He didn't like me, especially with the whole, the whole issue of, like the coffee machine or whatever. And I don't know, maybe it might seem maybe like sort of like immature or something for me, like, oh, like that person didn't like me, so they didn't give me full time. But obviously, if you're the manager in charge of doing the hiring, or you're in charge of giving full time to people, obviously, if you have an issue with someone or an employee right away, you're obviously not going to take the time to be like, okay, I'll give you full time. Of course, I feel like of course there was something deep down. Obviously he didn't like me. That's what I felt, which is funny because I had a lot of I wouldn't say a lot, but I had pretty much a good record of getting because like at our store we have like these receipts where you're supposed to do like a customer survey. So pretty much after you're done with their purchase, they get the receipt, they take it home, and they do a survey, and they rate you 1 to 5, 5 being the best. And I actually had like these badges that they give out. You can put them on your apron, which I'll show you in a bit. But anyways, so I had a good record with as far as like customer service. Pretty much, I'm not gonna like put myself on a pedestal here, but I had good customer service. I had always people say, oh, you have good customer service. I had employees telling me, coworkers telling me like, I'm surprised you're not they haven't given you full time, like you've been here so long, like I thought you were full time already. I'm like, no, like they'll give me full time hours kind of, but pretty much only when they want, but they don't want to officially give me full time. And so I don't know, this is just this is my apron. This is like what I talked about earlier in the videos. We got like little badges, for getting shout outs on the survey. But and then it was pretty cool because for our aprons we could put like little pins on them. So there's like a little little WD-40 pin. But I just felt like, if they needed someone to go in on my days off, I'd go in. If they needed someone to stay late, I would stay late. That's why after a while, when they denied my full time 3 times, I stopped caring. Who would want to keep going out of their way for a company that pretty much, they're not going to give you, what you've been asking. Maybe I shouldn't say give you what you ask for, but I think having so many years with that company, and obviously if you're good enough to go into work last minute for a department, I think that should be one of like the major factors for someone getting full time. At least that's what I feel. But anyway, so I pretty much just said screw this. So that's why, I went back to school, and I don't regret being in school. I feel, school always like the path to do your best in life. And so pretty much on this topic of school, another main reason why I left the companies because, they started being funny with my school schedule. So, when I started, they would say, oh, Home Depot is so flexible with school, blah, blah, blah. And when they started going to school, they would actually schedule me on days that I had school. Or they would schedule me pretty much right after I'd be done with school. They'd schedule me on days, I'd have to go into work 30 minutes right after I'm out of school. So like, I go to school in Pasadena, so by the time I get to my job, that's like 30 minutes right there. So I had no time to eat, no time to pretty much catch my breath. And so yeah, so after a while, I'd be late to work because I'm coming from the other side of town. And then what we have there at work is pretty much called like an occurrence. It's pretty much like a point driven system. I don't know if that's the correct way to describe it. So pretty much if you're late, if you're past the 7 or 8 minute grace period, pretty much you get what's called an occurrence. So it's like a point against like your record there, sort of your attendance record. So pretty much, obviously, I had maybe like a few occurrences because I'd be late. I'm driving from the other side of town. There's traffic. By the time I get off my car, I still hadn't changed from school, so we have to wear like these collar shirts. So pretty much I'd have to go get dressed. I was late by the time I would clock in. And pretty much, yeah, so like after a while, it's like, oh, this is becoming a problem, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I told you guys I'm going to school. I laid out my availability, and you guys are still not working with my school schedule. And obviously I'm not going to put work first before school. You know what I mean? I actually heard stories of employees there where management told them, you pick either you pick school or you pick work. And so obviously, I chose school. So, after a while, it was becoming an issue. I straight up called one of the upper heads there, and I told him, if it's becoming such an issue with my going to school, I could just quit. Obviously, I didn't have a backup job, but it became to the point where I was so stressed where I didn't think work was worth getting stressed. It was just a job to me. Obviously, I had put so many years in that job, but I mean, like I said, school comes first, so I wasn't gonna put work above school. So thankfully, that semester I finished with pretty much straight A's. So pretty much, that semester went smoothly. But I think after a while, I just started pretty much like reconsidering, like I said, I've been here so many years, and obviously they're treating me as if maybe like I'm sort of like a new employee. Like they won't work with a few days I was asking out of the week to go to school. So pretty much that's when I just stopped caring about the job. It just got I feel like that job just got so repetitive, and after a while I just started pretty much just overthinking, like, do I still really want to be here? Don't want to just tough it out, any job's gonna be stressful, just stop complaining, just tough it out, you know what I mean? And so yeah, like I don't know, when I went to work, I pretty much just had this long resting like bitch face, to be honest with you. I think that's pretty much like one of like the main reasons I left. It was the fact that they weren't working with my school schedule. The job just got repetitive for me, and pretty much just doing all these extra tasks, for the same pay. At least right now, the minimum wage in California, I believe, is $13 if I'm not mistaken, and I was stuck making $12.30. And like all my friends or people that I told how much I'm getting paid, they thought it was like crazy. Like, dude, like you're getting paid $12.30 and the minimum wage is like already $13. For such like a huge company that makes literally millions of dollars a day, at least at our store, we make millions of dollars a day. You would think that our store would be competitive when it came to like wages, but no, like our wages just remained stagnant pretty much. Our wages just never went up. At least to the minimum that California had set forth. And so yeah, I just pretty much just like, like I don't really need this job anymore. I'm not gonna lie, the job they offer health, they offer dental, and I couldn't do health because I was part-time, but they did offer dental and vision, which I took advantage of. And don't get me wrong, the benefits were great there. They pretty much we had very minimal co-pays. Pretty much I think it was like $20 if I wanted to get like a new pair of glasses. And then when I went to the dentist, I think the maximum I would pay maybe was like $100 for maybe, but that's like for major like dental work. But even then, I think it was like $100. Maybe it was like $50. But anyways, I didn't want to leave the job because like, oh, like there's good benefits here. I'm gonna screw it up. I'm gonna mess up my benefits if I leave. But pretty much, I think any major company now offers health benefits, whether you're full-time or part-time. I heard like Target, Best Buy, all these companies, I could be wrong, but I heard that they offer pretty much the same benefits, 401k, stocks. And so yeah, I mean, knowing that, I pretty much like, like I really don't need this job. If there's another job that's willing to pay me more money and offer like the same benefits that I'm already getting at Home Depot, like, you know, why wouldn't I leave the company? And thankfully, one of my best friends, Adrian, he actually said, you know, you should just, you know, leave that job, just come work with me at Starbucks. And you know, by the way, shout out to Adrian. You can follow him at Twitter, A through Z11. That's ATHROUGHZ11 on Twitter. But anyways, yeah, like he hooked it up. You know, he said, you know, come work with me at Starbucks. You know, it's more pay. He said, you know, it's just really just a fun work environment. So yeah, pretty much, you know, I thought about it maybe for like a day or two, because previously he had told me to go work at Starbucks before, but I was just too scared. You know, I think it's one of the main reasons why I was at Home Depot for so long. You know, I just got so comfortable. You know, I was comfortable in the job itself, but maybe I should say comfortable in the sense where like I knew what to do there, but I wasn't comfortable with the job itself anymore, if that makes any sense. But anyways, you know, I thought about it for like a day or two, and I thought, like, you know, if I don't take this risk now and just, you know, go work at Starbucks, you know, I'm just gonna be at Home Depot hating life, you know. So, you know, I took the chance, and yeah, like I applied, I got the job, thankfully. And pretty much, yeah, I just gave my 2-week notice at Home Depot. So I put in my 2-week notice at a time where our department was pretty much losing people left and right. And you know, I should say, maybe if you're losing a lot of people within a month, you know, I feel it's sort of maybe like a pattern. Like, you know, if you're losing that many new hires and people that have been there for a while, within like, I think we lost about 3 or 4 people within a month in our department. So I mean, I think that should tell you, you know, how bad it was in our department, how chaotic it was. And you know, this isn't like to bash anyone that was in charge of that department. I think they did their job the best they could, but it feels like the higher management, like the main management of not the whole store, but the main manager of our department, because pretty much we have what's called an assistant manager, and then from there it's like a department supervisor. You know, but pretty much my problem was mainly with the assistant manager of our department, because there's assistant managers for the whole store, and they're in charge of like maybe like 2 or 3 departments within the whole store. So pretty much my problem was maybe like with the manager of our department. I felt bad because, you know, I love my coworkers in that department. That's actually one of the reasons why I didn't want to leave. You know, I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna miss all my friends in the department, all my coworkers. There's no reason why, you know, we can't stay in touch even after I left the company. So pretty much, yeah, like I just, you know, I got up the courage and I just gave them my 2-week notice. And then while in there, like, I'm not gonna name names, but like I said, the assistant manager from the department that I just had an issue with, I gave him a 2-week notice, and of course he said, like, you know, why are you leaving, or what's up? So I said, you know, I found another job. He's like, oh, so like, where are you going? I'm like, oh, like I'm going to Starbucks. And he looked at me like, oh wow. He literally said, you're gonna throw away 4 years of being at a company to go make coffee. And then he said, oh, what's Starbucks gonna do for you? And I looked at him, I told him, like, you know, I'm like, you know, Starbucks, you know, Home Depot is not like my career choice, right? You know, I'm like, I'm going to school. So he's like, oh, what are you going to school for? So I'm like, oh, well, political science. He's like, oh, so how Starbucks gonna help you with that? So I told him, like, oh, like, you know, like Starbucks offers, they pay for your classes, they pay for online classes, which I felt, I didn't really have to explain myself when it came to why I'm leaving. You know, I mean, obviously they're gonna want to know why you're leaving. They're gonna ask you, but I feel like he was sort of like, just like maybe degrading my choice to go work for Starbucks. And you know, so it was pretty much him, and then the store manager was in the room with me. And then, you know, I told him, like, look, like, it's not my career choice. I'm leaving Starbucks because it's more pay, same benefits, more perks, discounts and stuff, you know. And then I had the store manager tell me, like, oh, like, how much more are they gonna pay you at Starbucks? You know, they probably thought like they're gonna pay maybe like 50 cents more. And I told them, like, oh, you know, $2 more, so I'll be getting $14.50. I can't remember now, $14.50 more, $2 more, so I'll be making $14.50. And then pretty much the store manager, they all just stood quiet. So then, you know, I thought, look, if you're gonna bring up my 4 years being here, you know, I thought maybe they would BS me and be like, oh, you know, if you stay, we'll give you $2 more. Oh, we'll match that. People will raise you $1 more or something, or we'll give you full time. You know, I don't think I was gonna stay even if they had offered it to me. I think I was pretty much just done with that company, but they didn't. You know, they pretty much just said, like, okay, good luck. And I just thought, like, wow, like, good luck. You know, that's it. You know, after being here for 4 years, you know, I wasn't expecting them to be like, oh, like, beg you, like, oh, please stay, you know. Obviously, like, you know, of course not. But, you know, I figured if you're there for a company, I was going on 5 years almost already, 5 years almost being there. And, you know, you would think maybe just to save face, or just maybe just, I don't give you a good setup, like, oh, you know, like I said, you know, maybe just offer you some sort of compensation to stay. But no, they pretty much just said good luck, and that's when I knew, like, it just pretty much, I didn't regret putting in my 2-week notice. You know, that being, you know, if that's how you're gonna think of me after almost a 5-year employee, you know, then I'm out. And this is probably just me, just maybe just like preaching to the choir, but you know, you're disposable at these jobs, you know what I mean? But like I said, you know, I felt like I had so many years there. I felt, you know, I don't know, maybe I was sort of hoping they would have been like, oh, like, don't go, or we'll give you this if you stay. You know, like I said, I wasn't gonna stay, but just as a kind gesture, you know, just, you know, something. But no, they pretty much just said, you know, good luck. And so obviously that, like, you know, after that, like, you know, I did have my moments like, oh man, like, I'm scared, like, what if I don't do good at Starbucks, blah blah blah. But you know, I think that's with any job. You know, when like I said, when I first started at Home Depot, I was like really overwhelmed with how much we had to memorize. You know, I used to work in fast food, but you know, I never worked like in a retail store before, so it was like a different pace, you know. But I think it's with any job. You know, you're gonna get accustomed to any sort of job after a while, you know. And I think maybe like what I want to end this with is pretty much saying you shouldn't get comfortable at a job just because you know the job well. That shouldn't motivate you to just, or make you just want to stay there. You know, if you're uncomfortable at your job, just look for another job. You know, it's a risk you have to take. You know, you don't want to stay stagnant at a job for a long time, just hating it, you know, just because you know the job, you know, inside and out. But yeah, so that's pretty much my experience, pretty much in a nutshell, why I left Home Depot. And you know, like I said, you know, I'm gonna miss my coworkers. Pretty much, I think my coworkers are pretty much a major reason why I stayed. You know, I was lucky enough to have, you know, I think our store maybe had like 300 employees, if not more. I can't remember, but you know, out of all those employees, I pretty much liked 99% of all those employees. You know, especially everyone in my department, I really loved. It was just, I felt like new management, or as far as maybe the manager, like I said, the manager we had in our department, it just made maybe like the last years of my of me working there pretty much just kind of like a miserable experience. Pretty much, yeah, you know, that's my story. If anyone's thinking of going to work for that company, you know, I'm gonna say that company has its pros and cons, like with any other store. You know, if you're looking to just work there part-time, you know, just to make ends meet, I would say work there. I feel like the company should do better for its employees. You know, I've seen people work like to the bone there, you know, and their pay isn't that good, you know. So I just felt like, you know, if you're thinking of working there, I don't know. I think, like I said, the benefits are good, but I mean, come on, if you're a major company that makes millions of dollars each day, you know, I think you should do right by your employees and pay them a decent wage. That's what I feel. So I mean, I don't know. If you want to work there, give it a shot. I'm not saying don't work there. At least that's, you know, this is just my experience that I had there. But you know, I think there's a lot of companies out there that would maybe treat their employees better, or at least give, you know, be competitive with their prices, especially for like a multi-million or billion-dollar, you know, corporation. So those are that's my experience working at Home Depot. If you have any questions or want to leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe down below. Like I said, my previous posts, you know, I was actually obviously going for a different type of channel. But now, you know, I just feel like I want to just make it more like a personal style vlog, you know, my experiences, or just, you know, just different things. I want to just keep it fresh and fun. So like I said, you know, please, if you aren't already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe down below. Like, comment. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will link that down below. And yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will keep you posted on further videos.